When upgrading a 1200 amp panel board and needing to increase the ampacity of the service entrance conductors, it's crucial to adhere to the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 310.16 and 110.14 CNEP. The existing setup involves 500 MCM THW conductors, with 3 sets providing a combined ampacity of 1140 amps, falling short of the desired 1200 amps. The goal is to determine whether 500 MCM or 600 MCM THHN conductors are necessary to achieve the 1200 amp capacity, considering the panel board's 75 degrees Celsius rating. Article 110.14 CNEP addresses terminal temperature limitations. Equipment is typically listed and identified for use with specific conductor temperature ratings. The selection of conductor ampacity should be based on the lowest temperature rated of the wire, the termination, or the equipment. In this scenario, the panel board is rated for 75 degrees Celsius. This means that even if the conductors themselves are rated for a higher temperature, such as 90 degrees Celsius for THHN, the ampacity used for calculations must be based on the 75 degrees Celsius column in NEC Table 310.16, unless specific conditions allow otherwise. Article 310.16 provides the allowable ampacities of insulated conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts, 60 degrees Celsius to 90 degrees Celsius, not more than 3 conductors in a raceway or cable or earth, based on ambient temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. To properly size the conductors, firstly determine the total load that the panel board will serve. In this case, the target is 1200 amps. Secondly, identify the conductor type, which is THHN, and its insulation temperature rating. THHN is rated for 90 degrees Celsius, but due to the 75 degrees Celsius termination limitation of the panel board, the ampacity must be determined using the 75 degrees Celsius column in Table 310.16. Thirdly, consult NEC Table 310.16. For a 500 MCM THHN conductor at 75 degrees Celsius, the allowable ampacity is 380 amps. With 3 sets of 500 MCM THHN conductors, the total ampacity would be 3 times 380 amps, which equals 1140 amps. This is not sufficient to meet the 1200 amp requirement. Fourthly, check the ampacity of a 600 MCM THHN conductor at 75 degrees Celsius in Table 310.16. The allowable ampacity for a 600 MCM THHN conductor at 75 degrees Celsius is 420 amps. With 3 sets of 600 MCM THHN conductors, the total ampacity would be 3 times 420 amps, which equals 1260 amps. This exceeds the 1200 amp requirement. Therefore, to increase the service entrance capacity to 1200 amps using THHN conductors while adhering to the 75 degrees Celsius termination temperature limitation, 600 MCM conductors are required. Additional considerations include voltage drop, which can impact the performance and efficiency of the electrical system. Voltage drop occurs as electricity flows through conductors due to the conductor's resistance. The longer the conductor and the higher the current, the greater the voltage drop. The NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to 3% for feeders and 5% overall for feeders and branch circuits combined. To calculate voltage drop, firstly determine the conductor length. This is the distance the conductors will run from the source to the panel board. Secondly, identify the conductor's resistance per unit length. This information can be found in NEC Chapter 9, Table 8 for alternating current resistance and reactance for 600 volts cables 3-phase 75 degrees Celsius. Thirdly, calculate the voltage drop using the appropriate formula. For a 3-phase system, the voltage drop formula is voltage drop equals 1.732 times current times length times impedance divided by 1000. The impedance value combines resistance and reactance. If the calculated voltage drop exceeds the recommended limits, consider increasing the conductor size or shortening the conductor length to reduce the voltage drop. Another important factor is the overcurrent protection. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, are designed to protect conductors from overloads and short circuits. The size of the overcurrent protection device must be coordinated with the ampacity of the conductors it protects. The general rule is that the overcurrent protection device should not exceed the conductor's ampacity. However, there are exceptions to this rule, such as when dealing with motor circuits or specific equipment requirements. For the 600 mcm THHN conductors with an ampacity of 420 amps at 75 degrees Celsius, the overcurrent protection device should typically be rated at 400 amps or less, unless specific circumstances allow for a higher rating. Coordination studies are crucial to ensure that the overcurrent protection devices operate correctly in the event of a fault. A coordination study involves analyzing the entire electrical system to determine the appropriate settings for each overcurrent protection device to minimize downtime and prevent cascading failures. This study helps to ensure that the overcurrent protection device closest to the fault will trip first, isolating the problem and allowing the rest of the system to continue operating. Another consideration is the number of conductors in a raceway or cable. When multiple current-carrying conductors are installed in a single raceway or cable, the heat generated by the conductors can raise the ambient temperature within the raceway, reducing the conductor's ampacity. NEC Table 310.15 CON provides adjustment factors for ampacity based on the number of current-carrying conductors in a raceway or cable. If the number of current-carrying conductors exceeds 3, the ampacity of each conductor must be reduced by the appropriate adjustment factor. For example, if there are 4 to 6 current-carrying conductors in a raceway, the ampacity must be reduced by 80%. In this scenario, since there are 3 sets of conductors, and each set consists of multiple conductors, likely phase conductors, a neutral, and possibly a grounding conductor, it's important to determine the number of current-carrying conductors in each raceway or cable to apply the appropriate adjustment factors. Grounding and bonding are essential for safety and to ensure proper operation of the electrical system. Grounding provides a low-impedance path for fault current to return to the source, allowing the overcurrent protection device to trip and clear the fault. Bonding connects all metallic parts of the electrical system to create an electrically continuous path, minimizing the risk of electric shock. The size of the grounding and bonding conductors must be based on the size of the service entrance conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.102 and 250.66. For a 1200 amp service, the grounding electrode conductor and the main bonding jumper must be sized appropriately to handle the available fault current. Conduit selection is another important aspect of the installation. The type of conduit used must be suitable for the environment and the application. Common types of conduit include rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, and rigid polyvinyl chloride conduit. The size of the conduit must be large enough to accommodate the conductors and allow for easy pulling. NEC Chapter 9, Table 4 provides the dimensions and percentage of fill for different types of conduit. When selecting conduit, consider the mechanical protection required, the resistance to corrosion, and the ease of installation. Proper conductor termination is critical for ensuring a reliable electrical connection. Loose or corroded connections can cause overheating and potentially lead to fires. Use appropriate connectors and termination methods for the type and size of conductors being used. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for torquing connections to ensure a secure and reliable connection. Inspect all connections after installation to verify that they are properly tightened and free from defects. Documentation and labeling are essential for maintaining the electrical system. Provide clear and accurate documentation of the electrical system, including panel schedules, wiring diagrams, and equipment specifications. Label all conductors, overcurrent protection devices, and equipment to facilitate troubleshooting and maintenance. Proper documentation and labeling can save time and prevent errors when working on the electrical system. Finally, ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. The NEC is the primary code governing electrical installations in the United States. However, state and local jurisdictions may have additional requirements or amendments to the NEC. Obtain all necessary permits and inspections to ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Working with a qualified and licensed electrician is recommended to ensure that the installation is performed safely and correctly. In summary, to upgrade the 1200 amp panel board with THHN conductors and meet the 75 degrees Celsius termination requirement, 600 mcm conductors are necessary. Remember to consider voltage drop, overcurrent protection, conductor dirting, grounding and bonding, conduit selection, termination methods, documentation, and compliance with all applicable codes and standards.